In this new mystery by Robert Crais, an influencer, I guess on Facebook, YouTube, things like that, a young lady named Tracy Beller, 23 years old, she hires Elvis Cole and Joe Pike to help find her father, who had disappeared 10 years before. I can't get into the details of the plot because that'd be giving away a lot of spoilers, and that really wouldn't be very fair to Robert Crais. The plot is a little bit convoluted. It's a little bit dark, as a matter of fact, which is somewhat unusual for an Elvis Cole book. But nonetheless, it's absolutely excellent. Now, the two detectives in it, Elvis Cole and Joe Pike, you may not be familiar with them if you haven't read any Robert Crais before, but they're partners in this detective agency, and they have very, very unique personalities. Now, the one thing that you're going to find in every single Robert Crais book is absolutely excellent character development. And not just on the two main guys, Cole and Pike, but also on all the secondary characters. He really, in a very economical way, gets into their minds, their backgrounds. You really feel like all these people are coming alive to you. Now, as far as Elvis Cole and Joe Pike go, they're not, the concept of having a pair of partners solve a mystery is not that new to detective fiction. You've got Sherlock Holmes and Watson, Hercule Poirot and Hastings. You've got, Harry Bosch and Jerry Edgar. The two who come to mind that seem to most closely resemble Elvis Cole and Joe Pike are Joe Pickett and Nate Romanowski. Joe Pickett for doing the detecting, even though he's not a detective, he's a game warden. And Romanowski introducing all kinds of enforcement, violence, the really exciting stuff in those books. Now, with Elvis Cole and Joe Pike, they met when they were in Vietnam. Elvis Cole was in the Army, Joe Pike was in the Marine Corps. They became friends, partners, somewhere along the way, and they have unique and distinct personalities. Elvis Cole is a funny guy, a witty guy. He gives Robert Crais the opportunity to introduce a lot of really zippy dialogue, a lot of humor into his books. Joe Pike, on the other hand, is pretty much silent, and he is the characterization of ultra-violence. Really, really interesting pair of guys. There have been 20 books that have had them in them, and you really feel like you get to know them and like them, which I certainly do. So I absolutely recommend this book, The Big Empty. It's a good one. Even though it's a little darker than the average Robert Crais book, it's still quite worth your while. See you next week.